Okay. Welcome, everybody. It is 7:19, and I'm calling this meeting to order. It is Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. My name is Mayor Ariana Sherlock, and we had some technical difficulties with our YouTube tonight, so we had a lovely joint meeting with the Community Activities Commission earlier, and then we are starting late so that we could make sure to be recording online for you all. So welcome, and I would like to have everyone join me in the flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Burford.
Here.
Councilmember Griffin. Councilmember Villasenor. Councilmember Frost Blakely. Councilmember Jacobs. Deputy Mayor Charbonneau. And Mayor Sherlock.
Here.
All here.
Thank you, City Clerk. Okay, next up is the agenda approval. Are there any requested changes or additions from council members? Yes, Councilmember Jacobs.
I'd like to add to the agenda a discussion endorsing the upcoming new and renewals for the Issaquah and Bellevue school levies.
Second.
Okay. There's a motion to add to the agenda a discussion regarding endorsing the school levies renewals. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. So that will become item 12.4 under general business. Are there any objections to approving the agenda as amended? Okay, seeing none, show the agenda approved as amended. Next up, we've got public comment. So I'll now open the public comment period. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the council. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Thank you. So with that, we'll begin public comment. And it looks like we have Mark Sherwood signed up. If you touch the bottom, it turns the mic on right at the base. There you go.
Thank you. Mark Sherwood, 1328 Brooklyn Walk, Northeast, Issaquah, Washington. Good evening, council members, mayor, deputy mayor, city manager, and staff. Hopefully I didn't leave anybody out. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today and for being an important part of the Issaquah School District. My name is Mark Sherwood again, and I serve as the executive director of communications for the district. I'm here to share facts about the upcoming levy. Earlier this year, the Levy Committee and School Board tasked the district with keeping the tax rate stable, focusing on essential needs, and not requesting the full levy authority allowed by state law. These proposed renewal levies meet these requirements, are not new taxes, and will expire at the end of 2026 if not renewed. There are 3 renewal levies on the February 10th ballot: educational programs and operations, capital for technology and critical repairs, and transportation. Our first renewal levy is Proposition 1, Educational Programs and Operations, or also referred to as EP&O. This 4-year renewal levy supports the ongoing operation of student services, enrichment, academic programs, and school safety. The EP&O represents 16.6% of the district's annual general fund, over $70 million per year, funding more than 405 staff positions, including mental health counselors, nurses, substitutes, and security officers, and others. It also helps us cover $9.5 million annually for underfunded special education services. It also funds student well-being and supports and academic opportunities such as the 7th period in high school, dual language programs, and more. Our second renewal levy, Proposition 2, is the capital renewal for levy for technology and critical repairs. This 4-year levy funds student devices, classroom technology, applications, and network infrastructure, while also addressing urgent safety needs and prioritizing high-impact building repairs such as roofing and HVAC systems. As you may not be aware, state and federal funding provides 0% for technology and critical repairs. Also, this levy does not fund new school construction. Our third renewal levy is Proposition 3, Transportation, or otherwise called the School Bus Levy. This district currently operates 170 diesel buses and 3 electric buses, part of a grant-funded pilot program. And this one-year levy, combined with existing district funds, supports fleet replacement and modernization, including addition of electric buses and expanding our charging infrastructure. As many know, the state and federal dollars do not fully cover basic education needs for students, and that's why these levy renewals are on the ballot. While we cannot speak to hypotheticals, we can share what is at stake. 70% of our overall budget, 400 positions previously mentioned, and programs like clubs, sports, and enrichment may be impacted. I encourage you and all who are listening to review the facts. And as a reminder, the ballots are being mailed tomorrow, January 21st. The last day to register is February 2nd, and we recommend using the ballot drop boxes like you have out front. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, and thanks for sticking around with our technical difficulties. City Clerk will take that. Okay, I don't have anyone else on my sign-up sheet. City Clerk, is there anyone who signed up for online comments this evening? Okay, no, thank you. All right, well, that concludes the public comment period. So we'll move on. We do not have any ceremonial presentations. So we are to council comments. I'll go ahead and start with Councilmember Burford.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. And yesterday was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we honor Dr. King's legacy of justice, inequality, and compassion. His powerful words remind us that true unity comes from understanding, respect, and empathy for all people. As he said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate can't drive out hate. Only love can do that. Let's strive for a world where every voice is heard, every language is valued, every individual is treated with dignity. Also, I'd like to take this moment to share that Newcastle Restaurant Week is from January 16th to January 25th this month. Thanks to the Greater Newcastle Chamber of Commerce for promoting Newcastle Restaurant Week for the 2nd year. This is the perfect time to explore our local flavors and enjoy some amazing deals. Check out these participating restaurants: Fantang Asian Cafe, Fantang, Tapatio Mexican Grill, Local Chang Bar and Grill, and Jet City Pizza. Please join me and join us. Support our local and try something new and treat yourself to good food all week long. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Griffin? Councilmember Villasenor?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. Tonight, we are going to announce council members who are working on other appointments as far as commissions or committees, both locally and regionally. This is an opportunity for you as citizens to look at these committees that we are part of, and if any of those things are interesting to you, to reach out to us to exchange ideas or to let us know how you feel about these certain things. It's a wide and varied list of public meetings that you can also join, but if you don't have time for that and you have thoughts on any of these, again, wide-ranging subjects, please reach out to us, and we're happy to work with you and to exchange ideas and to represent that at a regional level. So thank you.
Councilmember Frost Blakely?
No comment at this time.
Councilmember Jacobs?
Just want to echo thanking everybody for being here tonight. Looking forward to working with some of the CAC group that's still in the audience. Should be fun. And looking forward to what we've got in store for Newcastle over the next year. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Charbonneau?
Thank you. So I did have one item, sort of big one for folks. So I had a sort of community member approach me late last year about they had a booth at Newcastle Days, the most recent one, and had community members contribute to making a sort of mosaic at that booth. And they had said, oh, we'd like to give this mosaic to the city and, donate it to them. And upon sort of forwarding that along to our city manager and city staff, they essentially what the conclusion we came to was we don't have a good process, really. We don't have any process for accepting a donation from another outside group. And upon talking with our city attorney about this, he said that we should adopt probably one would be the best path forward if we wanted to accept donations such as art from maybe not just this group but other groups in the future or things of that nature. So the city manager recommended that I bring it here in council comment, and if there's consensus and sort of nodding heads from folks up here, that we could direct staff to bring on our next meeting, February 3rd, hopefully, a policy to put forward in front of us to accept donations like art and other things from community members, because we currently cannot do that, and I think that'd be a really nice thing to add to City Hall and add there. So I'll pause if folks have questions, or I guess I can't do questions in council comment, but if folks generally consent to that, I'd love to add that to our next meeting.
Is there any objection to that? Okay.
Awesome, thank you. So I'll let that community member know. And then just, I mention it every year, really honored to be involved again for losing track of how many years now, the annual Taking Down Pancreatic Cancer Wrestling Tournament at Hazen High School. It'll be this Saturday at 9 a.m. Every year we do this for our head coach, actually, Rory Magana, of about 18 years now, lost his father to pancreatic cancer, and our one annual tournament goes to proceeds for pancreatic cancer research, which is one of the most fatal diagnoses you can get in terms of cancer. So we'll be there at 9 a.m. Into the early afternoon wrestling. I would love if folks could stop by, share in the community. And only other big thing I had was go Seahawks, beat the Rams.
Yes, go Hawks. All right, Mayor's report. I have a little bit of a prepared statement that I want to start with. So I've heard from many residents recently who are deeply concerned about the presence and actions of federal immigration enforcement in our country. I have confirmed with Police Chief Mandela that at this time, ICE is not conducting operations in our community, and our city government is not cooperating with or assisting federal immigration enforcement activities. Our local police and city staff are focused solely on serving and protecting everyone who lives here, regardless of immigration status. I personally want to say that I stand in solidarity with Minneapolis and other communities across the nation who are experiencing the trauma and disruption caused by aggressive and harmful ICE actions directed by the current federal administration. In my opinion, what is happening is alarming, and it demands moral clarity. Since we celebrated Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. yesterday, I want to highlight a line from his letter from Birmingham jail. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Those words remain true today. When families are torn apart, when due process is ignored, and when fear is used as a tool of governance, it is not only one community that is harmed, it is our shared democracy. Local governments may not control federal immigration policy, but we do have a responsibility to speak out when those policies cause harm. And so I join leaders across the country in calling for an immediate end to abusive enforcement practices and for a humane, lawful, and just approach to immigration that respects human rights and the rule of law. Thank you to those who've reached out to me. I encourage residents to continue sharing their concerns and questions with me and other council members. In addition to that statement, I just wanted to, in addition to that statement, I just wanted to also highlight the committees, the appointments for city council to committees and regional boards and liaisons. They are included in tonight's agenda packet, although I just realized that I did what I always say you shouldn't, and I had a lot of acronyms in there. So I will send a revised version of that hopefully City Clerk Westman can replace in the official agenda packet so that it's all spelled out so everyone knows what all of those acronyms mean. But I really appreciate all the council members sending in your preferences, and I believe we were able to accommodate the majority of them. I also wanted to let you all know that it's looking like our retreat is going to be Friday, February 27th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I know the city manager will talk about that during the planning calendar later. And then also I've been in contact with our lobbyist, Shelley Helder, trying to get a date that those who want to from the council can go down to Olympia and meet with our 41st delegation and talk about our legislative priorities. It sounds like tentatively February 2nd, which is a Monday. Hopefully that will work that will work out. She's checking to see if she can schedule with them, but I will keep you all updated. And that's what I have. So we will move on to council committees. I don't know if any have met, probably not. So we'll move on to commission reports. The Community Activities Commission met with us earlier. And there is a written report in our agenda packet. But I don't believe anyone is planning on speaking. Okay, no. And now I will pass it over to City Manager Pingle.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Just a couple of things to highlight from the City Manager report that's in your packet. So one of the things in the packet after the City Manager report is a legislative update from Shelley Helder, our state lobbyist. We'll get those weekly. Generally on Fridays, and she sends those to you as well. But we'll include those as just like it is here as an attachment to the city manager report each week, just so that they're available and people can see the progress that's being made. She writes those for general interest as well as specifically to our legislative priorities, and so it can be a lot to digest. But it's good information to have to refer to as you get questions from residents or as you get involved with our 41st delegation and whatnot. It'll be constantly there for you to refer to. And so Shelley sends those to you directly along with myself, and then we'll keep them in front of the public each council meeting. I also want to highlight, and I'll invite Director Fitzgibbons to add anything if she'd like. So January 28th is the Planning Commission meeting where they'll have the hearing for the Critical Areas Ordinance. They're also going to hold an open house prior to that, just to interact with people and answer questions before the meeting starts. And so excited for them to take that step and for the Planning Commission to potentially pass that on to the City Council. And if you have anything to add, welcome that. So that's what I have at this point.
Great. Any questions or comments from council for the city manager? Yes, Councilmember Burford.
Yeah, I have a question regarding the AWC's conference tomorrow and the day after. So I'd like to know who is coming or who are going.
I'm attending.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
Yeah,
if any
okay.
other council members are attending.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, moving on to consent agenda. So these items are considered routine and approved with one motion unless a council member requests that an item be removed for separate discussion. Are there any items council would like removed from the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, the consent agenda is approved as presented. Thank you, CAC members, for being here tonight. Okay, there are no public hearings and no unfinished business. So we are into general business. So we have a few items regarding Arch. So I'm gonna pass it over to City Manager Pingle. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to briefly introduce Patrick Tippy from Arch. Arch is a regional coalition for housing, is that acronym. Patrick is here to present the 3 items that Arch has for us this year. I do want to just point out briefly, this last year, in 2025, Arch moved to a biennial budget. So usually what the council will see at this time of year is an administrative budget and work plan, along with Housing Trust Fund recommendations to approve. We approved the biennial budget and work plan last year, and so that's not before you tonight because it's already approved. And so you have the Housing Trust Fund recommendations, and then the other 2 items, as Patrick will go through, are kind of housekeeping items, but items that need each member council's approval, and so he'll walk through those for you. But those aren't items that you'll see from year to year. Those are items specific to things that we're trying to get done right now. And so I'll turn it over to Patrick.
Thank you, Manager Pingle, and thanks for having me here today, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council members. It's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Patrick Tippy. I am the Investments Manager at Arch, a regional coalition for housing. And as was introduced, I have 3 different topics here. I'll stop between each of them for you all to conduct ask any questions you have and take up the resolutions. But first, I wanted to get started with just a brief overview of who Arch is and what we do. Arch is an intergovernmental organization that was created in 1992 to preserve and increase housing for low and moderate income households in East King County. And our coalition includes 15 cities from East King County and King County itself. The governance structure of Arch is comprised of you all, the member city councils, and each member city has an executive board member, typically the city manager. Manager Pingle serves as your representative for you all. And that executive board hires executive director, staff like myself. We're also informed by a community advisory board, which makes recommendations for the funding. And for the first topic we'll talk about today, those recommendations were initially vetted by that community advisory board. We also do have a pilot of council of elected officials that would meet 4 times each year to serve as a sounding board. That's a pilot for this year, and I'm not sure if it was in the slate of folks that people voted on earlier tonight, but glad to have a new representative joining us on that this year. I wanted to share this structure because it will become a little bit important a little bit later as we talk about some more of the administrative functions. So Arch incorporates a number of strategies in order to advance affordable housing outcomes in East King County. These have a wide range of them, from land use to funding the capital of affordable housing to a number of other things. And we're here today to talk about the investment program and coordinating the public resources. So at the end of this initial presentation, we'll ask you to approve your recommendations for funding of 7 projects. The Arch program and our investment programs have a number of different ways that we award capital funding to create new affordable housing rental units as well as home ownership. First, the Arch Housing Trust Fund. This was established back in 1992, and we've created more than 15,000 homes through this program to date. We also support a number of member cities who have their own dedicated funding sources to create regional coordination and leverage those sources and make them go further. The Arch Housing Trust Fund has invested $120 million since it was first created in 1992. It's comprised of voluntary contributions from member cities like you all to make these investments. And I apologize for misspeaking earlier. We've created 6,000 units through this program to date in a total of 110 different projects. So really a great number of projects around jurisdictions, including here in Newcastle. As part of administering the Arch Housing Trust Fund, we advertise the available funds, we conduct pre-applications with developers, we review, analyze, and underwrite the proposals and provide analysis of the project sponsors as well as the projects. Then we bring that information to the Community Advisory Board made up of citizens of the region, and they make recommendations to the Arch Executive Board. In this year's funding round, we're here to recommend $4.6 million of awards to the Arch Housing Trust Fund. About $4 million of that is made up of member city contributions, loan repayments, and interest earnings. There's also about $600,000 of federal resources that we're leveraging that contracts to the county, but the Arch Executive Board makes the recommendations for those. I did also just want to include a few of the other sources of funds that we support in other member jurisdictions that are having a pretty sizable and notable impact there, two of which are in Issaquah and Bellevue, who have elected to collect a sales tax in order to generate a revenue source to create affordable housing units in their communities. This year was a dynamic year to be considering applications and attract leverage for projects. We typically pride ourselves on leveraging projects at least a 10-to-1 basis for the local funding in order to attract county, state, and federal resources to projects. There's a number of limitations and uncertainty at the federal level, especially impacted projects that are dependent upon operating subsidies. And there's also a moderate level of resource available for developers at other levels of government. The priorities for this year in considering which projects to award were really based on a few things that were informed by the Arch Strategic Plan that was adopted in 2024. First of which is the timely delivery of housing. Second was to maximize the unit creation with that Arch investment. And then we had a number of other considerations that we asked developers to discuss and talk about how those amenities created homes and community for the future residents. As far as process goes, it was a very lengthy process. Developers begin their applications in June, they submit them in September, and then we go through a number of rounds of reviewing the projects, both at the Arch staff level as well as the Community Advisory Board. Projects that have applied to other member cities also have their own individual reviews going on simultaneously, and so there is a significant amount of rigor. The recommendations then advance from the Community Advisory Board to the Executive Board, and finally from the Executive Board to each of you, the member council. So we are in the far right column here of asking each member city to approve their contributions to complete the awards for this year. Getting into the specific applications we received this year, we received 15 applications to create homes in East King County. About $15 million of those requests came to the Arch Housing Trust Fund. Those same 15 projects also applied for almost $57 million of funding from Bellevue and Issaquah if they were eligible for those program sources. The applications came for proposed developments in 5 different member communities: Bellevue, Bothell, Redmond, Issaquah, and Kirkland, and proposed a range of housing types, whether they be rental apartments, home ownership, group homes for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Some were acquisition of existing apartment communities, and some are new construction. So it really spanned the gamut. And so with that, I'm going to go into the 7 projects that we're recommending for funding, and we will also do a quick overview of the projects that were not selected. The first project we're recommending for funding is the project known as Bothell Urban. This is on surplus land from the city of Bothell to create a 200-unit community with 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units that are affordable from the 30% to 60% area median income. The proposed developer is Bridge Housing Corporation, a nonprofit in partnership with the Bothell United Methodist Church to be providing a community service facility on the ground floor of the property. The next development is the Altair at East Main. This is in South Bellevue. Funding recommendation amount is $500,000 to create 146 units that are 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units, affordable from the 30% AMI level to the 60% AMI level, including some units set aside for households exiting homelessness, as well as domestic violence survivors and their families. The partnership will be owned by SRM Development as well as HopeLink. So in partnership there, and HopeLink will be providing the supportive services for the future residents there. The third project recommended for award is Forest Edge to be developed by Imagine Housing. This is on surplus property from St. Andrew's Lutheran Church in the Eastgate neighborhood of Bellevue. Recommendation amount is $500,000 to create 100 homes from 1 to 3 bedroom units supporting households at 60% of the area median income. Next project is Orchard Gardens to be developed by Habitat for Humanity. This is 25 3-bedroom townhomes for home ownership, affordable for households from 40% AMI to 80% AMI, and this is in the Newport Hills neighborhood of Bellevue. The next project is the Kirkland House. The developer here is Porchlight, formerly Congregations for the Homeless. I'm sorry, if you, there you go. Recommending funding from the Arch Housing Trust Fund of $212,000 with additional match to be provided by the city of Kirkland. And this will create six bedrooms for men exiting homelessness that earning at the 30 and 50% area median income levels. Next is the Family Village Redmond project. The owner of this property is the YWCA of Seattle, King, and Snohomish County. This is an existing 20-unit apartment facility with 2 and 3 bedroom units serving families exiting homelessness. This property was never initially funded by Arch. It was funded by the county and the state, and the request here is for funds for rehabilitation to replace the siding to preserve the structure and preserve the homes for those 20 families. And the final project for recommendation before you tonight is the Life Enrichment Options, LEO, Trailhead project. They will own 7 rooms within the larger King County Housing Authority Trailhead Apartments development. We're recommending an award of about $191,000. For this development to support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. The next slides are the projects that unfortunately were not recommended for funding. There was really just funding limitations. The packets do outline the recommendations from the Community Advisory Board as to the rationale to not fund these projects. We did want to share the broad range of projects that did come to us for everyone's information. The first is the King County Housing Authority's Trailhead development. Here, they requested an additional $500,000 in addition to the $2 million that was awarded previously for this project to create 156 units in Issaquah. The next project that was not recommended for funding is Peters Ridge, also sponsored by Imagine Housing. They requested $2 million to create 108 homes ranging from studio to 3-bedroom units. Next project was the Aventine Apartments. This was to complete some financing for the acquisition that the Low Income Housing Institute did on an existing property in downtown Bellevue. Arch had previously made a number of awards there, and we learned that other funders were able to make the awards, so it wasn't necessary for Arch to make an award for this project. The next was an interesting concept proposed by Respace. Their proposal was to acquire a number of single-family home properties and use the middle housing code that the city of Bellevue recently adopted to create individual living suites for homeowners, so people would own their own bedroom and bathroom, but then share kitchen and living facilities to create community for small households, potentially seniors, to live in and have community and create density on infill single-family home communities, and this would be for ownership. And this was not recommended to advance this year. Next was a proposal to acquire the Catalina Apartments on Richards Road in Bellevue. This was 96 units of acquisition, but did include quite a bit of relocation of existing residents, so it did create quite a bit of displacement there. then the final development that was not funded was a development called Park by Vintage. This would have been an office to residential conversion in central Issaquah to convert two residential buildings into housing. And this project did not advance at this time, though is working through planning with the city of Issaquah. In total, we bring before you the projects that are outlined here in red, and I apologize for the box cutting off some of the text here, but it's a total of $4.6 million in funding recommendations to support these seven projects in 5 different communities. Some of the takeaways here for the round before we move into council action is there will be the recommendations here advance over 500 homes for families here in East King County to be continuing to live near where they work, where their kids go to school, places to recreate, worship, and attend and patron local businesses. So this is really exciting. We did receive a record number of requests this year. We had three times the requests of the amount of funds that we had available. And so we are just seeing the needs grow and attracting quality developers and projects. And with that, I will pause here and happy to take any questions that you all have and encourage you to consider the recommendation before you.
Thank you. So we're starting with, this is the general business 12.1. We'll be hearing about the next 2 items, but any questions or comments so far? Councilmember Villasenor.
Yeah, just a quick question on the number. I know it reads 4.030800 on the agenda item. You made the mention of 4.6. I see that on the proposed funding source, another 600,000. I'm just looking for the other sort of 600,000. Was that the proper number, or was it this 4.0?
Yeah, so the total recommendation from the Arch Housing Trust Fund accounts that all the member cities have, the total amount from that is $4,030,800, which comes from attachment 1 in the agenda memo.
Right.
So that's the total amount from the Arch Housing Trust Fund. There are additional recommendations the executive board made, $616,000 coming from the Community Development Block Grant Program from King County.
Okay, so that'll be in one of the other ones that we're approving tonight.
That action is for King County to take to advance that recommendation. The executive board did that. So as member councils, your role, I believe, is to approve Newcastle's $20,200 contribution of that $4 million.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
And that contribution, that 20,000 from Newcastle, it's already been contributed to the trust, correct?
That's correct. Yes, it was contributed and received in spring of 2025.
Great. Any other questions or comments this time? Okay. Yeah, I'd like to entertain a motion. Yes, Council or Deputy Mayor Charbonneau.
I move adoption of Resolution 2026-1075, authorizing the availability of funds from the city's Housing Trust Fund for the recommended Arch Housing Trust Fund award.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Deputy Mayor Charbonneau, seconded by Councilmember Villasenor to adopt resolution number 2026-1075, authorizing the availability of funds from the city's Housing Trust Fund for the recommended Arch Housing Trust Fund award. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Oh, sorry, Deputy Mayor Charbonneau, go ahead and speak.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to not do questions because I know I wanted to speak to this. Thank you for coming, Patrick, and the work you all do. Yeah, excited to be on the Council of Elected Officials. I just think it's really, for small cities like ours, the work you all do can streamline our efforts so much into making a bigger impact. We have, for many folks that don't know, we have quite literally an obligation to contribute and take action on the housing crisis. And I think I personally believe, a moral obligation. Even though these projects are not in Newcastle, these are funding things that support our region, and these are funding people that work in Newcastle. These are funding people that come here to spend dollars in Newcastle. And I've met I've met people where that is the case. If you don't believe me, whether that's working at Verde, a friend that I graduated high school with here, working as a teacher. I met a RISDN teacher that lives in one of these art units as well too, and quite literally a project in Newport Hills. So I think it's really critical. And I appreciate you all doing the work because it helps put it to a much more collective good than we would if we would try to do it in-house on our own. And I know our community development department has used you all as a resource quite a bit, and I think is even currently asking you some questions about a few different properties as well. So I'm looking forward to the continued work with you all, and it's really great, the force multiplier effect of all this. I applaud you all, and I think it's important to be said.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to item 12.2, adoption of resolution approving revisions to the House Key Plus Arch Down Payment Assistance Program.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, members of council. Excited to bring this one forward. This one maybe is maybe a little less shiny and attractive than the last of creating housing, but this is an administrative function that does help streamline Newcastle's role in needing to support the administrative function here, and is part of that force multiplier in the regional coalition for housing here. So appreciate this here. This resolution is regarding the House Key Plus down payment assistance program. This is a long-standing program that supports low and moderate households be able to purchase homes. The resolution in front of you is administrative in nature and to enable the down payment assistance partners to update the program to better serve buyers here in 2026. There is no funding requested at this time. So the down payment assistance program, Home Key Plus, was first established by ARCH, Washington State Housing Finance Commission, and King County in 2005. The program is administered by the Washington State Housing Finance Commission and currently provides up to $30,000 in down payment assistance for qualified home buyers purchasing in East King County as a loan. Based on the early success of the program, the project was recapitalized by all the funding partners in 2005 as well as 2012. In total, Newcastle has contributed $30,000 to this program. The total of $2.4 million was approved for the program, though some of the King County funds were later withdrawn due to some federal funding challenges. To date, 81 households have been able to serve the program, and the program currently has a balance of $1.2 million. We're proposing program updates here for a few reasons, one of which is to encourage the use of the program and further support home buyers in creating affordable home ownership opportunities for them. The program usage is continuing, but it's slowed significantly since 2010, and even more significantly over the last 3 or 4 years as home prices and interest rates have continued to climb. In order to spend down the existing funds, ARCH, King County, and the Washington State Housing Finance Commission have recommended some program changes to better meet the needs of lower income buyers. The DPA program has been an important resource for many first-time home buyers, and it's a great assistance and hope that this program can continue. The program changes are to better meet the needs of eligible buyers by giving the housing to align with the higher cost of homes and higher interest rates. This aligns with ARCH's program allowances, which allow buyers above the 80% AMI level. We do have homes, including here in Newcastle, that are affordable up to 100% area median income, so this would make the program eligible for those units. And it finally simplifies the administration for the program going forward. At this time, members of cities who have funded the down payment assistance program are being asked to vote on a resolution that will approve the program changes, authorize an execution of a program agreement change, and ratify the prior actions that were recommended by the ARCH Executive Board. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor Schwalk.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the council? Okay, I will entertain another motion. Deputy Mayor Charbonneau?
I move adoption of Resolution 2026-1076, approving revisions to the House Key Plus Arch East King County Down Payment Assistance Program as presented.
Okay, it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Charbonneau, seconded by Councilmember Villasenor to adopt resolution number 2026-1076, approving revisions to the House Key Plus Arch East King County Down Payment Assistance Program as presented. Deputy Mayor, would you like to speak to your motion? Okay. Councilmember Villasenor, okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Moving on to 12.3. Adoption of resolution approving delegation of pre-2010 Arch Housing Trust Fund awards.
Thank you, Mayor Sherlock. And this is my final presentation for your consideration this evening. Thanks again for your patience here. Wanted to talk a little bit more about some of the governance here for Arch. Talked about this being a intergovernmental organization that was created in 1992. In 2010, there was an interlocal agreement amendment that moved the administration of the Arch Housing Trust Fund program and other administrative duties to the City of Bellevue to administer on behalf of member cities. And one of those functions included the administration of the Arch Housing Trust Fund. Prior to 2010, trust fund awards, such as those that you made 2 resolutions ago, would then have been contracted by each individual member city. And so then a developer that was using funds from the Arch Housing Trust Fund then would enter into an agreement between anywhere between 2 and 15 member cities. That was challenging to go through the initial contracting, but then when you need to refinance and subordinate or do any modifications, you then need subsequent approvals from those 15 member cities. The 2010 interlocal agreement has modified that, and every contract since that time, the City of Bellevue has executed on behalf of the City of Newcastle in accordance with the resolutions that you all have passed. However, those modifications were not made before the contracts that you all have adopted before that period of time. Newcastle funded 15 projects before 2010. And so this resolution is designed to align the administrative responsibilities of all housing trust fund programs from the inception of the program to current for ease of the developers, the cities, and staff. Some of the delegated duties include negotiating and executing some of the terms of amendments, some subordination, and working through some of the financing securities that we have. The delegation does not include Bellevue's assumption of any legislative or administrative powers. Those are to be retained by each individual member city. And all of the duties that are being delegated are consistent and the same with the interlocal agreement that was adopted in 2010. Some of the benefits of the delegation here is that it simplifies the administration for the Newcastle City staff, it simplifies operations for the housing providers, and it creates predictability for the development community. With that, I will turn it back over to Mayor Sherlock for your considerations.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the council? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion? Deputy Mayor Charbonneau.
I drank warm fluids before this, these moments. I move adoption of Resolution 2026-1077, authorizing the City of Bellevue to administer certain housing project agreements on behalf of the City of Newcastle, consistent with the amended and restated interlocal agreement for Arch, a regional coalition for housing.
All right, it has been moved by Deputy Mayor Charbonneau, seconded by Councilmember Villasenor, to adopt resolution number 2026-1077, authorizing the City of Bellevue to administer certain housing project agreements on behalf of the City of Newcastle, consistent with the amended and restated interlocal agreement for Arch, a regional coalition for housing. Would you like to speak to your motion? Councilmember Villasenor, would you like to speak?
I'd just like to thank the City of Bellevue for taking this on. I appreciate their effort, and I hope they continue to do a good job with it.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Okay. We will now open the second public comment period. Oh, I'm sorry, 12.4, it's right there and I missed it. Sorry, 12, we're on to general business, agenda item 12.4, discussion to endorse school district levies. Councilmember Jacobs, you brought this forward, take it away.
Before we start this conversation, I'd just like to make a quick little spiel about using public facilities to support or oppose a ballot proposition. Generally speaking, that's against the law. There is an exception to that where a council can take affirmative action to support or oppose a ballot proposition, but to do that requires a notice on the agenda with the title and number of the ballot proposition, and then equal time for the opposing views to also speak on the topic. So we just need to be careful about what discussions we're going to have tonight on the topic of opposing or supporting any ballot proposition, which a school levy would be. And so if the discussion is around the idea of putting that discussion on the next agenda, that's totally great. And if it is to direct staff to bring back a resolution endorsing or opposing, I think that is fine too, because you have to be able to direct staff on what you want to potentially take action on at the next meeting. So with that cautionary statement, please proceed.
Can, City Attorney, can we hear reasons why council members might want to bring that? Or do we wait to have that discussion?
I think that should wait to have that discussion, because I think that at that point we are using public facilities to support or oppose the ballot proposition. I mean, just by its very nature.
Okay. All right, Councilmember Jacobs.
I'll leave my comments to if we put this on the agenda and give equal time to make comments at the next meeting. But I think it's important that we have a discussion not only with the community but with the council in general.
Okay, anyone else? Deputy Mayor Charbonneau.
Thank you. I guess I'll have a couple comments, but clarification question. Do you need action from us to add it to the next agenda at this time?
I guess City Manager Pingle would be better at that. You could, I think, take action today to put it on the agenda, but I believe that 2 council members can also email Councilmember Pingle. Oh, that's the planning calendars. Yeah, you're gonna want to take action to put it on the, affirmatively put it on the agenda.
Yeah, so I think, just for me, I'm always happy to second this. I think traditionally this council body has, and I'll disclose at the top that I, Deputy Mayor Charbonneau, have personally endorsed this levy. I did not do that speaking for the entire city, but just in the sake of transparency. For me, I think this body as a whole has never taken that really, at least in recent memory, to endorse ballot measures and levies or be in the affirmative. I had brought forward this idea before when it was the Crisis Care Centers levy for King County for mental health facilities, and it was shot down then by the council. And I always found it personally odd, given that, I see a lot of other cities do this, quite frankly. I see a lot of other cities come take affirmative stances on these different levies and ballots to sort of let their stance be known. And I'd always wondered why we hadn't sort of done it as a city. I know last year when we had the superintendent and some school board directors from the Issaquah School District come and give a more lengthy presentation, it was just sort of the concept. The immediate response from other council members was sort of the concept of, oh, we just don't do that. Why not? In my opinion, I'm happy to support things that. I'm happy to start having the discussion about supporting things instead of just saying we do something this way because we've always done it this way. So that's why I think it's important to bring forward. I'd love to see it on the next agenda, and I can make a motion if you would like that as well.
I saw your hand, Councilmember Frost Blakely.
Yes, so I understand the restrictions, but I would tell me if this is something that could be completed during this meeting. More general statement that we are in favor of adequate funding for
No.
education at all?
Well,
No, more,
I
I mean,
mean-
if we speak in a very general term versus to a specific,
I mean, I can't tell you where the line is, council member, but there's a line, and, you know, it's against the law to to cross it. So,
but we could,
I think that people
Bring it up
can-
at
Yeah, I mean, again, I can't tell you where the line is.
It just-
But it is against the law to use public facilities to support or oppose a ballot proposition. And, I mean, we all know what ballot proposition we're talking about right now. And so where we draw the line of talking in generalities versus opposing or supporting something, I think gets blurred very quickly.
so
And
it
if-
could be part, though, of, where is it, part of our mission and vision, if we incorporated there as a general modus operandi for the city, that we generally support funding for education, because it's in the benefit of our citizens,
I mean,
something like that?
I mean, I think all of this discussion could be had at the next council meeting after it's been put on the agenda and everybody is given the opportunity to come and give an opposing viewpoint if they so choose to. And so we can have all of those discussions and not have any worries about any statements that are made at that point.
Thank you.
Councilmember Burford.
Yeah, so can we also do some research, see any nearby cities and city council, if they have jointly supported things like this? And I would like to find out, because I heard from Deputy Mayor Charbonneau talking about other city councils as a whole group they support similar cause like this. I'd like to know. Thank you. I also want to echo Councilmember Blackley, your statement. It's about our children, our community.
Councilmember Jacobs.
Yeah, I just want to say, I'll reserve my comments till the next meeting, but this all came up because we were enlightened by some information at a town hall that I think is certainly beneficial for not only the council, but just the residents of Newcastle, because many of them send their children to schools in 3 school districts surrounding Newcastle. And that was the reason for the discussion this evening.
Thank you. Councilmember Griffin?
Thank you. Mark? I think that we ought to stay on the safe side of the law in everything that we do as a council, that we be careful that we not start breaking the rules. We don't need to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so what we can do tonight is, I would entertain a motion to add this agenda item to the next meeting so that it can be properly noticed, so that we can have a discussion legally.
I'd second that.
So I'm not making that motion, but I will entertain that motion from someone else.
Since I'm new at this, I'll make a motion to put on the agenda for the February 3rd council meeting, discussion about the levies both in Bellevue and Issaquah, and open that up to the citizens of Newcastle.
And for potential council action?
And for potential council action.
You seconded? Okay, Councilmember Burford, thank you. I think everyone has spoken to this, so shall we take it to a vote? All in favor of, let me just restate the motion to add to the next meeting, February 3rd agenda, to discuss the upcoming renewal levies for Issaquah School District and Bellevue School District. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries 6-1 with Councilmember Griffin dissenting. All right, thank you. So now we are on to, bless you, additional public comment. Has anyone signed up? Anyone signed up? Anyone online? Any takers from the audience that are here? Okay. We'll go ahead and close the public comment period as no one wants to speak. Next is the planning calendar. City Manager Pingle.
Thank you, Mayor. So you have the planning calendar in front of you. Specific to the February 3rd meeting, we'll have our joint study session with the Planning Commission that evening. We will plan on a 6 p.m. start time rather than a 6:30 start time, primarily because we want to tackle the critical areas ordinance along with the Planning Commission's work plan. And so we'll take the extra time for that one. Another agenda item for you to continue to be aware of, we do plan to have Thomas Boydell here from United Hub to talk about the EV charging station project and how we move forward with that. That's been discussed generally, and we've been working to kind of get some ducks in a row before we bring that to the council for a presentation, and then we would plan on potentially bringing an item back for council approval at the February 17th meeting. So that would be primarily for presentation and discussion for February 3rd. On consent, all we'll have is the Planning Commission work plan item. In general business, we'll have the 2026 fee schedule update, along with we'll have an item on to approve the temporary maintenance technician position. And then we'll add the things that we've talked about this evening with a donation policy and discussion about supporting school levies. Happy to take any questions on those in general, and then happy to talk about the retreat.
Councilmember Jacobs?
I just have a quick question on the EV information. Is there information from last year when they're presented? Nothing's been,
No, this is new.
okay.
Yeah, so we've been working on it with them for some time, just because part of it, so working with United Hub, they take on the burden of funding installation. The mechanism for council to approve will be license agreements to allow that to move forward. So based on their grant, the main part of the funding comes from the Department of Commerce to United Hub for installation of these. And so they'll have grant requirements that they have to meet. And so they will own them on our property for a period of time. So for anything we do at City Hall, it would be 4 years. At Lake Warren Park, it would be 6 years. And so we have to have an agreement in place as to how that works. And so we wanted to, so primarily for several months, United Hub's been working to get funding in order before putting it in front of the council, and certainly before then asking you to take action on something. And so February 3rd will be the first time that the council hears from United Hub. As far as the retreat goes, so it looked like we had a 10 to 6 time frame on February 27th that everyone was available for. And so we are working to finalize things with a retreat facilitator. And then certainly happy to have council feedback on a location, but the last time we did a retreat, we used Aegis. I thought that worked out fantastically, both from the standpoint of the venue and the space, as well as the cost, along with having a meal, just because that comes along with the venue, and I thought we were treated super well for the cost at Aegis. And so unless there's a desire to do something else or go somewhere else, I'll pursue Aegis. Okay.
Go ahead, Councilmember.
Yeah, I really look forward to hearing from United Hub. I still remember the initial meeting we had in the summer of 2025. Yeah, so they are really, really eager working with Newcastle. Also, it's also beneficial for our capital project. Yeah, thank you.
City manager, do we have to do anything formally to have the retreat? Or is it too early to do anything formally for the
So
retreat?
if we're all set for the 27th, and that was really the time frame that the only time frame everyone was available, it would be great to have a motion to set a special meeting for that date.
Deputy Mayor Charbonneau?
I move to set a special meeting for the city council on February 27th to hold starting at 10 a.m. as needed at Aegis Gardens to hold our 2026 council retreat.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to start planning for a special meeting for our council retreat on February 27th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., hopefully at Aegis. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. We are now going to have an executive session, so there will be an executive session this evening to review the performance of a public employee pursuant to RCW 42.30.110, subsection 1, paragraph I. Executive sessions are closed to the public pursuant to state law. Executive sessions, I just said that. We will convene into executive session at 8:25, and we should be there half an hour? 30 minutes? Does that seem good? Okay, so we'll do 30 minutes. So we expect to return to the council chambers 30 minutes from now, so 8:55 p.m. After the executive session, the council will reconvene and may take further action.
Mayor, can we correct the RCW?
sorry. Yes,
It's G.
please.
It's subsection G rather than I.
Okay. Do you want me to read the whole thing again? Okay. Subsection G instead of I. Okay. Let's go into executive session.
The council will return at 9:05 to the chambers.
Okay, the time is now 9:07 and the council has reconvened for the regular meeting. Is there a motion?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Charbonneau?
I move to give City Manager Pingle a 4% salary raise.
Point of order.
State your point of order.
Point of order.
Can you turn your microphone on, please?
We have an action motion that was made back in August for the same situation. And there's a special procedure you go through according to the procedures manual in order to change that. And we're not following it at this point.
Sorry, can you repeat that? Can you repeat your point of order?
My point of order is that there was an action motion created back in August when this came up. And tonight we're trying to just ignore the procedures manual and do it without following the procedure that it takes. It's in the procedures manual, it says that you need to either amend or rescind it and then make sure it gets on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay, well, I believe that this is on the agenda for this meeting because we have on the agenda an executive session to review the performance of a public employee. And we are now, and I stated earlier, the council will reconvene and may take further action. So that is on the agenda. So now we are in that place and we are moving forward and taking action.
I second Deputy Mayor Charbonneau.
Thank you. So can you repeat your motion? And you can speak to it.
Yes, I move to give City Manager Pingle a 4% salary increase.
Effective, do you have a date?
Effective next pay period.
Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yeah, certainly. I think, I know we've heard a lot of glowing reviews about City Manager Pingle. I would echo most of those sentiments. I appreciate our Human Resources Director, Jane Westman, doing a salary analysis of our comparable cities. And we found that our city manager was 7.8%, nearly 8% below his counterparts in other cities who have similar time in their role, similar sized cities as well. I think it is always better to keep good people and keep them happy as opposed to, and I'm happy to, spend what would be less than an additional $9,000 a year on the city manager who's done a tremendous job and had other raises shot down in the past, rather than the $100,000 plus it would take to replace him at minimum. So I think it's critical to keep good people and the folks that we have here, and I think it's a great way to show our appreciation for them.
Councilmember Jacobs, would you like to speak to the seconding of your motion?
I just want to say that, look, I'm new at this. I can tell you from my past history in the business community that when an employee gets a review like I reviewed in the packet, we shouldn't even be having this discussion. And I know it failed last year, and I agree with the deputy mayor that we really, our city and our employees are vital to our growth and taking care of this community. And if we don't have those employees, it's just not going to happen. And the amount of money that we're talking about, to be quite frank with you, we probably wasted this evening having that discussion about it. So, yeah, I don't know what else you can say. This is silly. Sorry.
Any other, Councilmember Griffin?
Yeah,
Is it 4% above the 3%?
It's a 4% salary increase effective next pay period.
That is 4% with the 3%?
It's 4% salary increase from what he is currently receiving.
Well, he automatically gets what used to be the merit raise, right? Or is it 4% with the 3% in it?
Last year, he received a good review, which means he automatically received 3%.
So now we're voting another 4%.
Where the motion is to give the city manager a 4% salary increase effective next pay period. Councilmember Burford, did you have a comment?
Yeah, so I just want to say, last time I voted yes, because this time, of course, I want to still vote yes, because our city manager has been working very hard and saved a lot of money for our community, for our city. And we really need to retain our best employee and also take good care of our people. And for the long run, actually, we can actually save more money for our city and for our people. So that's why I just want to, I don't need to say anything more. So let's do it.
Any other comments? I just want to say my experience with the city manager Pingle is that he has done everything that the council has asked since he's been here. And when back in August, when I made a motion to give him a 5% instead of the automatic 3% salary increase, it was voted down, but it was said on the dais by dissenting council members that we were going into budget season, and he's done a great job, and I'm paraphrasing, but and that let's get a balanced budget, and then we can talk about giving him a raise if he can deliver that. Well, he delivered that, and I think it's important to make good on promises. So I am in favor of this motion. Any other comments? Okay, I'll bring it to a vote. The motion on the floor is to give City Manager Pingle a 4% salary increase effective next pay period. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries 6-1 with Councilmember Griffin opposed. Thank you. So with that, and with no further business, this meeting is adjourned at 9:15 p.m.